Like many people in shelter in place, I picked up some new hobbies. Nothing that I got particularly good at, except for one, and that's drinking wine. And it looks like a lot of other people had the same idea. Online wine sales in the US skyrocketed in 2020, and at the top of that list, my personal favorite, Cabernet Sauvignon. So just out of curiosity and a surplus of time, I decided to do some research on this particular varietal. As I went further down the rabbit hole, I stumbled upon some startling information. Climate change could possibly end Cab Sauv in Napa Valley? Damn it. Paywall. I need some more information. Hey Siri, find me a wine expert.
I'm not a person, so I only know what I've been programmed to understand.
Time to do some legwork.
My name is Rini Petit. I work in wine marketing and I am a certified sommelier. So I'm originally from the Midwest. I went to Purdue University. I moved out to California in 2017 to get my master's degree in wine from the Culinary Institute of America. So within Napa Valley, Cab is king. Cab has been king since essentially the 90s when cult winemaking really blew up. And all of a sudden, it was over $500 for a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is currently getting sunburnt in the Napa Valley due to climate change. The region itself is becoming too warm to properly produce the esoteric version of the wine that most winemakers are pursuing. And the Brix levels are currently reaching too high to hold on to the nuances and the acidity that makes Cabernet Sauvignon this really sophisticated, sexy wine that Americans have been trying to replicate since the 70s.
So, there's definitely something going on. But what'd you say about Cab being king? I think we need some history.
The story of Cabernet Sauvignon in the Napa Valley goes back to the 17th century in southwestern France. An accidental breeding of the red Cabernet Franc grape and the white Sauvignon Blanc grape occurred. Winemakers in the region caught wind of this new varietal and adopted it into their own vineyards, gaining international acclaim in Bordeaux, France. Soon thereafter, grapevines were exported around the world and eventually reached California and were planted by this dude and other early settlers. It wasn't until 1976 when the Napa Valley winery, Stag's Leap, beat out the top Bordeaux chateaus in a blind taste test at the Judgment of Paris. Henceforth, the varietal became king in Napa Valley.
Fascinating. What else does it say?
Well, here on Google,
Hold up. History mode? Off. But we'll keep the outfits.
Yeah, it just says that the origins of this varietal weren't known until wine researchers at UC Davis used DNA fingerprinting to reveal the parentage of the grape in 1996.
Word. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Now that we know how far this varietal has come and how important it is to Napa Valley, let's see what winemakers are doing on the ground floor. I think I know just the guy to talk to.
My name is Dan Petrosky. I'm the winemaker at Larkmead Vineyards in Calistoga in northern Napa Valley. So Larkmead was celebrating its 125th anniversary last year in 2020. As we headed into that monumental occasion, we started looking not only at our past, but we started looking at our future and what the next 125 years looks like. And you can't do that in agriculture, and you can't do that in business and life these days without thinking about the changing climatic conditions. So with that in mind, we started looking at Larkmead as an entity of wine growing in 20, 30, 40 years. And what does that look like? Well, to us, that looks like a lot different landscape than it does today. It looks like Cabernet Sauvignon may not be the best grape variety for this vineyard or for this valley. So I look at data and I look at trends and I look at how those are going to be appreciated over time. And so I started looking at the weather patterns, and I was shocked to see how our growing conditions here were getting hotter, getting drier. We were seeing extreme droughts. We were seeing extreme intense heat waves that didn't last for 4, 6, or 8 days. It lasted for 100 days. The calendar year of 2017, we had 1 out of every 2 days from June 15th to September 30th was 95 degrees or more, 28 days over 100 degrees, 11 days over 110 degrees. That's a hard condition for not only a plant to grow, for just a human to live in. And so we were farming under those conditions, and we saw a lot of stress in the vineyard. So we started to see that compound over time. It's been a bit of a shock in how quickly that has been happening. And just in 15 years, I've been here at Larkmead. And what we've been doing to kind of mitigate that over time is we're trying everything we can in the field, from managing our vines' water resources through cover crops and managing our irrigation, creating our own composts. We are organically farmed for the last 7 years. We are working with shade cloth. We are working with misters. So we are working with technologies above ground, below ground. We are studying, the transpiration rates. We are understanding our soil moisture depth. We're trying to understand everything about our vine. We are currently in this zone in kind of climate that is perfect for Cabernet Sauvignon in Napa, and that's why we've had such great success here, and we will continue to have great success for a couple of decades to come. But as climate slowly moves, the heat slowly moves north and through our landscape, we're going to be sitting in a position where we're going to struggle to ripen Cabernet to the flavors that we're accustomed to the textures that we're accustomed to the quality that we're accustomed to. So one big part of our goals is there's a lot of talk about regenerative farming, and it's basically kind of zero carbon farming and helping not only the soils regenerate their biomass and regenerate their organic matter, but it's also not emitting carbon into the air as we turn soils and we till our vineyard. So here's one example of that which we're trialing. This will be a vineyard site that of Larkmead's 3 contiguous vineyards. This is what our home site, and we will have this to a no-till vineyard as close to regenerative and organically certified in the next 2 years. So we're super excited about that. We're seeing positive results on quality, which is most important, seeing positive results on quantity, which is also equally as important. So it's pretty cool. We're really happy to be doing what we believe to be, the right thing, the sustainable thing for our future. And I think that's we're just doing the best we can every day, and we'll see where it takes us.
Dan has let us know what is being done to help mitigate the effects of climate change at wineries, but I'm curious about what we can do as individuals. He put me in touch with a climate change scientist, but it's a bit too far for me to travel by bicycle. So I'll head home and I'll try to hop on a call.
My name is Greg Jones. I'm the director of the Evanstad Center for Wine Education at Linfield University. My background is I'm a climatologist. I've been studying climate and agriculture, and I did my PhD in Bordeaux many years ago and have been studying pretty much wine, viticulture, production, terroir, those kind of things for the past 25, 30 years. I think the first thing to really understand is this. Wine grapes, Vitis spinifera, which is the genus and species that make most of the wine that we drink in the world today, can only be grown across a fairly narrow mid-latitude climate. You can't grow it in the tundra, you can't grow it in the tropics very well. And so when we look at it, it's a very narrow climate type of crop. Very, very unlike, wheat or rice or corn or soybeans, because they can grow over a larger area. But even when we look at Vitis vinifera and we say that it can only be grown in a mid-latitude kind of environment, then we can take any one variety, Cabernet Sauvignon, for example, and it's even grown even in a more narrower environment. 1 degree of change may not be a big deal, but 2, 3, 4 degrees of change are really putting a place like Napa, or could be anywhere else doing Cabernet Sauvignon, completely outside the realm of what we know is suitable. I think consumers are much more powerful. Consumers just need to be, number one, aware of how climate is changing. Number two, how it's affecting the things that they consume, both food and beverage wise. And then be a part of the puzzle by saying, we want you to be better, and we'll buy these products if you're better at it. I think it's absolutely ludicrous for us to think that everything will always be the same. That we will always have watermelons and avocados and whatever else it is that we're growing somewhere, given the fact that there's 7 billion people on the planet. I mean, things are going to change. Whether or not we have climate change, things change. So we should be, I think, more adaptable as consumers.
Wine is embedded in our history and culture all around the world. If we truly care about our future, we need to be better stewards to the land that has already given us so much. There are many reasons to be concerned about climate change, but if you don't do it for any of these reasons, at least do it for the wine.
Hazlo por el vino. Udělejte pro víno.
Mach's für den Wein.
Het draait alleen maar om de wijn.
Do it for the wine.
Fallo per il vino.
תעשו את זה בשביל היין.
Care für Wein.
Fal pelo vinho.
Do it for the wine.
No. Okay.
We do it in unison.
And then we do,
Okay.
so we need to make eye contact and then turn and
Okay.
do, okay? Do it for the wine.